Airports are strange places, people rushing in, others waiting, some saying goodbyes with tears, others reuniting with laughter. But for Emma, a struggling single mom of 7-year-old Lily, the airport wasn't about excitement or luxury travel. It was survival. She was exhausted, pushing her worn-out stroller with one hand, balancing a cheap carry-on bag with the other, and trying to keep Lily calm. Emma had saved for months, cutting coupons, working double shifts, skipping meals just to afford this flight to a job interview in another city. It wasn't just an interview. It was her chance at a new start, a better paying job, a chance to finally give Lily a decent life. But little did she know, fate had other plans waiting at that airport. Introduction to Emma's struggle. Emma was the kind of mom who never let her daughter see how much she suffered. At home, she told Lily bedtime stories about princesses and adventures, but in reality, her world was bills stacked on the counter, broken appliances, and constant anxiety. She had been abandoned by her ex Lily's father when she was pregnant. Since then, she had carried the weight of life alone. She worked as a cashier at a grocery store, barely making ends meet. Every night she whispered promises to Lily, "One day, things will get better. Mommy won't give up." Today was supposed to be that turning point. But airports were intimidating for someone like Emma. Everyone around her looked so polished, with designer luggage, expensive headphones, business suits. She felt invisible, just a tired single mom holding it together by threads. The unexpected encounter. As Emma tried to settle Lily near the gate, her daughter tugged at her sleeve. "Mommy, that man looks like the prince from your stories," Lily giggled, pointing across the waiting area. Emma glanced up. At first, she froze. The man sitting a few seats away looked familiar, too familiar. Broad shoulders, confident posture, neatly tailored suit, but his face, those same piercing eyes she had once fallen for as a teenager. Her heart skipped a beat. "Daniel," she whispered under her breath. It had been over a decade since she last saw him, her first love, the boy she had dreamt of marrying. Back then, life had torn them apart. His family moved out of town, and they had lost touch. She had no idea where life had taken him. But here he was. And he looked different. Not the carefree boy she remembered, but a man who carried himself with authority, success, and quiet power. Emma quickly looked away. "He can't see me like this," she thought. Not as a broke single mom with messy hair and a worn-out stroller. But fate wasn't going to let her hide. Reconnection begins. Emma. Her heart raced. His voice. She turned slowly. Daniel was standing right in front of her, smiling with a mixture of shock and warmth. "It's you," he said softly. "I can't believe it. After all these years." Emma forced a smile, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. "Hi, Daniel." "Wow, it's been forever." Lily peeked up at him shyly. "And who's this?" Daniel asked, kneeling slightly to meet Lily's eyes. "This is my daughter, Lily," Emma replied cautiously. Daniel's smile widened. "Hi, Lily. I'm an old friend of your mom's." Lily grinned, instantly charmed by him. Emma, however, was torn inside. She didn't want him to ask about her life. She didn't want pity. Hints of success. As they chatted, Emma noticed his expensive watch, his designer shoes, and the way people around him seemed to glance with quiet recognition. He mentioned he was on his way to New York for business meetings. but he didn't say much more. Emma assumed he was doing well. Really well. Meanwhile, she was clutching a discount airline ticket and counting coins for overpriced airport snacks. She prayed he wouldn't notice. But Daniel wasn't blind. The moment of kindness. Their flight was delayed, and Emma tried to calm Lily, who was growing restless and hungry. She opened her wallet, hoping to buy her daughter a small sandwich. But all she had left were a few crumpled bills, not enough. Daniel noticed. Without saying a word, he walked off and returned with a tray of food, sandwiches, juice, and a little cupcake for Lily. Emma's eyes welled with tears. "You didn't have to," she began. "I wanted to," Daniel interrupted gently. "Emma, you've always been the kind of person who gives everything for others. Let me do this for you." Flashback connection. As they sat together, memories flooded back. Emma remembered how, in high school, Daniel used to sneak snacks into her locker when she skipped lunch. He was kind then, and he was kind now. But there was something deeper in his gaze this time, a quiet admiration, as if he was seeing her strength, her resilience, not her struggles. The revelation. Their plane finally boarded. By chance or maybe fate they were seated just 2 rows apart. Lily fell asleep mid-flight, and Emma finally let her exhaustion show. Daniel leaned over. "Emma, do you know what I do now?" Emma shook her head. He smiled. "I run my own company. We design sustainable housing projects. It's been a wild journey. But I've been fortunate." Her eyes widened. So that explained everything. He wasn't just successful. He was a millionaire CEO. Emma's throat tightened. Suddenly, her cheap clothes, her tired eyes, her entire life felt exposed. She wanted to disappear. But Daniel reached for her hand, his voice steady. "Emma. I don't care about any of that. You're still the same person I remember, the one with the biggest heart." The emotional climax. Tears slipped down Emma's cheeks. "You don't understand, Daniel. Life hasn't been kind. I've failed so many times. I can't give Lily the life she deserves. I don't even know if I'll get this job I'm flying for." Daniel squeezed her hand. "Emma, raising a child alone isn't failure. It's the bravest thing I've ever seen. You're stronger than anyone I know." At that moment, Lily stirred in her sleep, her little hand reaching out to rest on her mom's lap. Daniel's eyes softened. He saw not weakness, but love. A mother's endless sacrifice. The offer. When the plane landed, Daniel walked with Emma and Lily through the terminal. Before they parted ways, he turned to her. "Emma, I know this might sound sudden, but my company has an opening. A position that I think you'd be perfect for. It's not charity. You have the heart, the determination, and the skills we need. Let me set up an interview for you." Emma's mouth fell open. "Daniel, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," he said with a warm smile. The resolution. Weeks later, Emma found herself in a new city, working a job that not only paid well but gave her purpose. Daniel had kept his word. He wasn't just her past, he was becoming part of her present. Emma and Lily slowly built a new life. And though Emma was cautious, she couldn't deny the feelings that stirred every time Daniel was near. Closing message. The story of a struggling single mom and her first love didn't end in heartbreak, it turned into a second chance. Not just at love, but at life. Because sometimes, the universe has a way of bringing people back into our lives not to remind us of what we lost, but to show us how far we've come, and what we truly deserve. Emma had once believed she was invisible in the busy world of airports. But Daniel saw her. Not for her struggles. Not for her pain. But for the strength, the kindness, and the love she carried all along. And in that, Emma realized life doesn't always break us. Sometimes, it bends us just enough, to lead us right back to where we belong.